I didn't transition until I was 44. So I had to, from the time I was a teenager, I had a separate life. And in psychology, there's a theory sort of based on Freud, but it's Melanie Klein who came up with the theory of splitting. So it's, your identity splits
And
off.
Susanna
There's
Binama.
the public identity and there's the private identity. And, I did that for a large part of my life until it became unbearable. I mean, transitioning when I was a teenager in 1973 would not have been an easy, course of action to take. You sort of get used to that, but I think what I believe I take away from what Sandy was saying is it's hard. It's really hard because you're presenting one identity to most of the people who are close to you, and when I finally made the decision to transition, for example, I was married. And it was, a heartbreaking experience to go through because I knew that it wouldn't be something where my then wife was going to easily adapt to that. So we had to really work through a lot of stuff, and we ended up, getting divorced. Some couples stay together, and it's an amazing thing to see. I'm now married to another trans woman, which is probably the last thing in the world I thought would happen, but I'm so glad that it did happen. We've been together for almost 20 years now. So. So once those two lives come together, things seem to get a whole lot better for the
Pretty
most part.
amazing, isn't it? It's an
Yeah,
amazing journey.
Strange how that works.
Anybody else want to respond to that? Tori, are you?
Yes, happy to. I'm actually looking for a quote to put in chat from Audre Lorde, which says, "We don't live single issue lives." Because, and it's true that there are very few people, if any, who only have race to deal with. There's also sexuality and gender. And for some of us, those are transitioning, with the play on words, issues there. So there's that.
It's interesting, Jesse, you mentioned relationships and the toll it takes on relationships. And a lot of relationships, unfortunately, don't survive that. I will say, mine did. That woman that I was dating all those years ago is my wife. We've been together over 30 years and married more than 10. So she's still around. She put up with me through all of that and stuck around. And, now we walk down the street holding hands. So it's awesome.
And that is fabulous, Sandy. I will tell you one thing that I've learned in my journey of authenticity is that, it's not just living two separate lives. It's being honest and vulnerable and transparent with who you know yourself to be. And I feel like as human beings, as women, as human beings, we all have an aspects of authenticity that are waiting to come forth in us. So I guess the question that I would turn back to all the audience members is, what is it like for you to live in authentic? If you know something that is waiting to come forth in you, what is it like for you to struggle with showing up vulnerably and transparently? So it's no different for a trans individual to embrace our aspect of our truth as it relates to our gender identity. And that's just one aspect of our authenticity when we show up.